We're good, though. We're good, though. But we are week 10, double digits.
Someone who's not good, Dak Prescott.
Yeah, Dak Prescott.
First off the ball. His hamstring came off the bone.
Yeah, this is the Jay Cutler injury. This is what kept him on the bike during that playoff game, and everybody talked about how Jay Cutler wasn't very tough. Well, Dak Prescott, put him in the same category then.
In one of the weirdest injuries I've seen at the quarterback position, just a throw. And again, I think I outlined it on Monday's show. It looked like he was trying to stop or trying to adjust mid-throw. Hamstring yanked
something
down.
Else led to there was something else that happened, in my opinion.
Maybe he was tired from the play before. He should have subbed himself out.
Some of these things are like they're just waiting to happen as a result of something traumatic previous. And Dak Prescott's been in the league a while. He's taken a lot of hits. He plays on that turf. You never know. And this could have been just something that was a freak deal, and it just went.
I remember when Richard Sherman tore his Achilles, and he was like, I just knew it was going to happen at some point. He had, whatever it was, his calf.
We can feel that in our shoulders as O linemen. It's like something's about to give, and then you feel that navel rope pop, and you're like, well, there it goes.
Yeah. I will say, from the Dallas Cowboys perspective, it was over with him on the field this year when you're at 3-5.
Yep.
It's now into,
what are we doing with him?
We could be putting him on ice for the rest of the season, and we could be like looking at a top 5 pick at this point with the way things are going. At 3-5, with the state of their defense, the worst run defense in the NFL by a clear margin this year. And he was their offense. They don't run the football. They haven't even tried to run the football. Tried to run the football less than anyone else in the NFL this season by like 20 plus carries. And with Cooper Rush, and now that 1 year when he went out, we thought it was over. Cooper Rush won them some games. He's not completely inept, but they had a lot more talent that year.
It's different team.
So
different team, different situation.
Put the hamstring on ice and put the season on.
But they got Jonathan Mingo.
But that was the timing of that. And now he still has 2 years left after this on his rookie contract. So maybe they're buying into that. But you make a move at the deadline for a guy when realistically, you could have made that move this next offseason, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have to give up the 4th right now. Mingo sits on the bench this whole season. He goes for a 6th in the offseason at most, right? Like they're looking to get rid of him come March. They may even cut him at some point next year if you're the Dallas Cowboys, when a guy's fallen out of favor that early on in his rookie contract. And to when your season is, with his Dak Prescott injury over, the timing of that to your season's over. Oh, let's go get a wide receiver now. It's like, that was bad move on a number of levels there for the Dallas Cowboys.
And you know what? I was listening to I was on TikTok the other night, and this was an old interview, I think, from Nick Castellanos, an MLB player. Mm-hmm. And he was asked, if you could change one rule, what would you change? And he was like, essentially holding these ownership groups, management groups accountable, making sure everybody has an opportunity to succeed. Like in baseball, there's only like the 4 or 5 teams that are really, it's like Yankees, Atlanta, Dodgers, all the big market teams. Well, in the NFL, we've gotten to know the bottom of the barrel teams in terms of some of their decision making. And while the Cowboys are a rich, storied franchise with winning everywhere in their history, people scratch their heads every year about the Dallas Cowboys. We've been scratching our heads a lot recently about some of the things Jerry Jones has done, and we know that he's the guy in charge there. So at what point are we like, hey, Jerry, let somebody else step in there?
No, Jerry Jones is great. We don't want anyone.
Let somebody else step in there, Jerry.
Well, it's going to be his son.
Everybody wants the Cowboys to be good, though. Like the world is a better place when the heel is actually a strong one, and the heel in the NFL is the Dallas Cowboys. Unless you're one of these people that are like, this is truly America's team, and I can understand the argument for that. There's a lot of Cowboys fans, but then there's the other 55-60% of people. So, I'd like to see the Cowboys make some good decisions. I mean, they blew a 4th round pick on Jonathan Mingo, who hasn't done anything, quite frankly. And it makes you wonder what the hell they're doing.
No, it does feel a little, just a touch, like when Belichick started losing his fastball. I mean, because we haven't mentioned it.
Was it the Mac Jones pick?
The worst? No, it was the 2nd round pick for Mohamed Sanu was when I was like,
oh yeah. And we covered that the other day.
And then all of a sudden, I think it was 2020 when Belichick went out and had a free agency bonanza. It was either 2020 or 2021 where he just went off and like signed Matt Judah, like spent more money than anyone else that year in free agency, more money than Bill Belichick ever has.
Was that the same year that Burrow beat Kansas City in the AFC Championship? Because if so, Bill Belichick called me from a Stairmaster during that offseason and tried to get me to come there. And he was like, you understand what we do?
Cash.
Because you understand what we do to veteran offensive linemen, right? And I'm like, what's that? He's like, well, you don't get any days off, and we will grind you to a pulp. I was like, thanks for the call, GOAT. I will talk to you in February 33rd.
He knows the hard sell. That's really
on the Stairmaster for sure.
Yeah, he was puffing and puffing. But yeah, I do think Jerry's
never been on a Stairmaster.
I don't ever want him to not be the Dallas Cowboys owner and not be the face of that team, but the decision making.
He needs to take creatine. It's a neurotropic.